primary opper, or even prior to that, before Stewie came on the team, he was a target as well that they kind of looked at. Obviously that never wound up working out. He wound up going to Cloud9, and we know the story from that point forward, but he is that quality of player that can get looks from some of the best teams. So I expect him to put his full skill set on display in this series. But without further ado, let's get things going. Pistol Luck round is live here on Inferno. Pain Gaming will be starting out on that T side.
The wait is over. A best of 3 to determine which of these teams will be taking place in the Blast Spring Tournament is right here, ready to go. Extra Salt on the CT side. OC, the man we were just touching on, acting lyrical about, is going to be trying to hold off on B, but it's effectively a bait and switch right now. They also have flashes for JT. If he sees anything, he can pop flash OC in for a peek. And there's another player there in the form of Fang. So I wonder if Pain Gaming are going to walk into this.
Certainly possible here. OC drawing the attention there, taking a couple of shots, gets whittled down to 15 HP. Doesn't really do much in return either. But still, Pain Gaming, very non-committal here. Still just kind of making sure they maintain control of top banana. They're also looking to perhaps get control of the brackets position at middle. They already, of course, have presence inside the apartments. They still have time to play with the bomb now being picked up by PKL. Was left behind on T stairs. He will now be looking to meet with his teammates over at middle. It's still that 3-man stack over at B side by Extra Salt, and now they've lost a player on the A side. This could be a lot of trouble. Extra Salt, they are so committed to this stack at A side.
And they haven't budged an inch either.
No.
So they're not too bothered about the fact that they've lost a player, and this effectively just leaves it all on marking. Now they're going to have to start to make a move. The question is, how many can the Mexican pick up? And the answer is, well, a resounding 0. So already Extra Soul all clumped together may just think about saving. I know this is a bit of a pill to swallow, but you've got a kit, you've got a couple of flashbangs, OC is very low, you got some Kevlar in the mix as well. I think they're going to have to save here, Dust.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like they bet black on the roulette table, right? And all they could hope for is that the ball was going to fall on one of those spaces, and it just didn't happen. They knew that if they tried to like guess and over rotate, they could, leave the B bomb side completely vulnerable. You just had to take the 50-50 there. Unfortunately for them, they were wrong. Great round by Pain Gaming to show that patience, to not overcommit, to get those picks and just kind of play together, gather up, go in as a full unit, and just overwhelm their opponent. So that was a nice constructed pistol round from Pain Gaming, and it's just, an unlucky gamble for Extra Salt on the flip side.
The benefit of it, though, is they were able to save 3 players, including 3 Kevlar, 2 flashes, and also a kit. So if they do decide to fully invest behind this, they will have that little bit extra oomph to the purchase. 2 MP9s have been elected, and Fang has Kevlar. So this, in terms of a second round buy after the CTs have conceded the first, actually, this is one of the better situations you can hope for.
Yeah, sure. Like you said, plenty of utility, a couple of SMGs out there. The Deagles spread out as well. Again, they're trying to put that triple man pressure over on the B side. They're also looking to face middle a little bit here. Not just give up all the space for free. Marky even trying to get himself, some positioning perhaps over at Boiler. Not sure if he's going to go past that, however. Stack kind of being put in by Extra Salt inside the sights. A little bit of a high-low play. I think that's at second oranges. Meanwhile, just the same slow, steady pace here from Pain Gaming, just trying to, kind of creep forward, get as much out of control as they can. Marky's been spotted.
Has been spotted and funneled away back onto quad. Smoke has been expended just to allow him a bit of safe passage.
Ooh, 2 of them, though, actually. They kind of wasted an extra one there, which when you had limited utility like this, that could cost you, a little bit later on when maybe you want it for the retake or something along those lines. It's a small detail, but it's something to consider. As once again, Pain keeping it slow and steady. They have top banana control. They're putting the smoke pressure on CT spawn, but once again, it seems like they want to gather up for that A attack.
And it's the A site that is still vulnerable. Only 2 of the 5 players over here, and it's 2 Deagles. They don't have either of the MP9s over in this vicinity. So it does feel like a bit of deja vu, maybe taking shape, and maybe Extra Salt again look to try and save. Now, Marky gets dinked, but it's through the hay bale, so he's okay for the time being. Still 85 HP as they look to move through. Flashes are good. They know where Sonic is, but Marky gets 2, and he's still alive. He's still kicking, still trying to take headshots. Finally has been denied by Safi, but maybe with those 2 picks and a bit of information gathered, this is the way forward. The bomb gets planted very late into the round. There was only 7 seconds left on the clock. But have they done enough now to funnel Extra Salt in for this retake? Spotting the player up on The pit side, HG goes up and over, but Safi and Nekis taking no prisoners, and Fang left man standing not for much longer. Pain Gaming have won the round and taken all the players with them.
It's one of those things where you were probably right. They were maybe considering saving again, but when Marky got those 2 kills from inside the pit, it gave them that feeling like maybe they could find a way to pull the wool over Payne's eyes and grab the round, but it was all for naught. Great hold by Payne on the site. They gave up those 2 kills to Marky, but that was about it. As they will now move forward with these 3 AKs of Galil and Macton, the full save from Extra Salt. Once again, looking towards that B-side stack. I think they're going for a boost on the flower pot. They have 4 players over in that area right now. And it seems like this round should be all but Pain Gaming's unless they somehow run into this trap at B. Maybe a death by 1,000 paper cuts awaits them with all those USPs compacted together, but it does seem unlikely.
Oh, this would be a massive flop if Pain Gaming lost from this position. Honestly, if they lose more than 1 player, I think it's a bit of a failure. So it's looking incredibly good for the Brazilians to get themselves into an early 3-0 lead. It's the map that we felt like they had the best opportunity and chance on, and so far they've done a solid job.
I'm getting a little bit worried, Vince. They're all coming this direction. It's still the 4 players here gathered up behind the smoke.
Flashbang comes through. They get 1 kill, but PKL was so very careful. So patient, waiting, doesn't shoot prematurely, waits until the flash is cleared, mows them down, cleans it up. But you're right, it was looking a little bit sketchy. That flashbang was solid, but it just didn't have the firepower to really follow through with it.
Yeah, PKL having snuck to the pool and no one from Extra Salt really having picked up on it, he was able to set up a crossfire there with Safi to kind of ensure that that swing out wasn't going to be very impactful. Had his positioning not have been there, then that flash may have been effective enough and we could have maybe seen something kind of crazy happen, but it winds up just going the way you'd expect. 3-0 for Pain Gaming, but now the full buyout from Extra Salt, including an AWP in the hands of Sonic right now. Maybe he has the better spawn here, taking it over OC.
Yeah, this is something that we saw quite a few times in the DreamHack finals as well, where Sonic was basing it off spawns a lot of the time and was getting the AWP over OC. And they kind of mixed and chopped it, especially on Inferno. Not so much on the other maps, but on this map for sure.
He's had his periods in his career where he's been the primary operator of some of his teams, so it's not as if it's out of the ordinary for him to have this weapon in his hands. Again, OC, though, has been an absolute monster in the region ever since we kind of shifted to this online era, so you'd expect him to have it the majority of the time. As once again, Pain Gaming really kind of taking their time. Again, just kind of playing Inferno to the meta, right? Just trying to get simultaneous, apartments in top banana control, then kind of work from there based on how you're manipulating rotations, what reads you're getting, what utility you're forcing your opponent to spend. Again, no one's really reinventing the wheel on how Inferno is played, Vince, but it's all about how effective and efficient you are in playing the map the way it's meant to be played. And that's a big opener for Big Zera.
Super efficient, the word that you just touched on before. Flash, Molly, goes in for the peak, gets an entry, and now he can wrap around the back. And no one from Extra Salt can really do anything about this. All they can really do is relay that information. But it's not going to help OC out too much, who is joined alongside a teammate just underneath him. I think that's Fang, and now here comes the utility. 30 seconds to play with, though.
Yeah, at least this mid push comes quick, though, Vince. That's the one good thing about this for Extra Salt.
OC's gone down, and PKL comes in for a second frag. JT, in the meanwhile, with his ore, goes in, but 20 seconds. They need the hero play from Fang, and he springs into action with 1. Can use that smoke as a bit of a shroud, a bit of sanctuary. Finally, he will go down, though, to the hands of Harjao, and with his life, the round will follow. So close. Again, sub 10 seconds on the clock when Pain get the plant down, but they get the job done.
They do. I mean, that mid push, I was starting to think that maybe that could kind of save the day for Extra Salt. I mean, when you're giving up arch side middle and you're giving up a 5-on-4 and you have no idea where Big Zera is and you know that he has CT spawn control, that they could be setting up the mid B split. There's not a whole lot you can really do but try to either chase after him or try to go for the mid push and hope that no one else is waiting there. And they try to go for that mid push, and it may have been something to build off of, but they just lost way too much in the site before those players could really get into better position. And now the op won't even get saved. JT gets caught here inside the T-side apartments. And money is fairly low for Extra Salt. may have to just go for kind of a halfway buy here. And so Pain off to a great start here on Inferno. And again, this is a map that we knew they had the best chance on, right? They've played Extra Salt close in the past on this map. They have the higher win percentage. They have the better just overall results, overall comfort. And we said that this is meant they had to be nailing to have a chance to pull the upset in the series. And so far, they are off to a flying start in that direction.
And on the T side, on top of everything else. So already, some of those alarm bells beginning to ring maybe over on the Extra Salt side, but it's not as if this is a surprise at all. They know just how good Pain are on Inferno, so I doubt they're going to be getting too desperate this early in the map.
The one thing I will say that we do have to keep an eye on, though, and this is always the case for that slower pace style, is what if you do milk the clock a little bit too much later on in the half, right? That could come back to haunt you. Sometimes you need to be a little bit more decisive, a little bit quicker in those, early to mid-round situations. So that's at least one thing that you might have to, kind of keep an eye out for. But other than that, Pain have looked almost flawless so far on this T side. As I say that, though, this round's getting a little bit scary.
They have planted the bomb a lot sooner in this round, and the deagle shots through the coffins are speculative and don't really land at all. PKL can just pull the plug and go back into Dark Spot, while Sonic is trying to make moves on CT with the smoke there to greet him. Now, with the deagles, it's completely worthwhile with just one Kevlar between the two of them, a max round loss bonus around the corner to go for this. Doesn't really matter if both players die. And I'd argue taking a couple rifles down is definitely worth the risk. The reward is far higher than the risk, and Fang is staying in position. Does get sprayed out by PKL, and Sonic, who's just been consistently smoked off, pushes through the smoke, and PKL will seal the deal for a 5-0 lead.
Yeah, 5-0 lead and only losing 2 players on the round, keeping the AWP in play. Plenty of money stored up for the future. So again, this is going swimmingly for the Brazilians. OC has yet to get going, still had 0 kills in the game. Double op now in play, a very huge economic investment. And if it backfires, they will be saving again. That's where Pain can go up 7-0 from the T side of Inferno. So they need to be very careful here on Extra Salt side not to waste away this investment.
Double ops is something that we saw a lot from Extra Salt, though. Not too surprised to see this, and it did yield them a lot of success. But great utility, already fending off OC. Now, that Molotov shouldn't spread to him, so it should be okay to just hold the line. But already, they've isolated him into awkward positions, looking for some banana control, and it will be forthcoming.
Yeah, OC has maintained position at this half while Sonic's able to get a kill and, importantly, escape without being traded. This is a great start to the round, the best early round period Extra Salt's had all half long, and that's a big shot from OC as well. So now they've won on both main fronts of the map. A quick 5-on-3. Starting to play recovery already, Vince.
Putting the right foot forward and looking to bridge the gap. Sonic may be engaged on momentarily from Nekis, who was thinking about getting aggressive. There's still 3 players, though, for Pain. What's concerning me a little bit, though, for the Brazilians is the bomb is off by himself in the hands of Safi, who's on banana, whereas 2 teammates are looking to maybe wrap around.
Yeah, they need them to be able to get into CT spawn and get this pick onto Sonic to have any hope at reeling this round back in, despite being oh so far behind. But Sonic, he's aware of it. He spots it, but he misses his shot. And now things are getting a little bit dangerous as each second passes and each shot gets missed by Sonic. He's still unable to connect, and now all of a sudden this round becomes a problem.
20 seconds to play with. Another smoke has been tossed down on CT, but it won't be fending off Safi. 15 seconds. They've got to get a move on. This is where the time can maybe finally get some success, but Safi on the drive-by, and PKL while Flash still takes down Fang. 5 seconds to play. The bomb's now been planted out. Marky's made enough moves, but Nekis on the coffins will get himself one, and that could be good enough to yield the round. Marky's not sure where both players are. He knows one is coffin. It stands to reason that Safi would be behind the box, but he runs out of ammunition, and Safi secures the 10-0 scoreline for him individually, but Pain is 6-0 in the lead.
That was a brilliant play from Pain. They did exactly what they had to do in a 3 versus 5 to have any chance to win that round. I loved how they just worked the op in CT spawn. They knew that the only way that they could bring that round back to their side of the court was to find a way to expose CT spawn and kind of lighten the load on what numbers they were responsible to fight against, considering they were well down in the man count. So, again, huge props to Pain Gaming. Vince, unfortunately, you also have to flip and look at the other side of the coin. That's terrible from Extra Salt. You cannot lose a 5 versus 3 when you're already this far down on the scoreboard if you're supposed to be the favorite. Those are the types of rounds that when you look back in VOD review, it's going to haunt you, especially if you wind up dropping the map overall going into map 2 of the series. That was your chance. And now you've basically ensured that Pain are going to get a 7th round and just have a massive lead going forward.
And they had everything that they could possibly want. They
Exactly.
had double orbs, they had full utility, they had early map control and an early frag.
I
and
hate
they
to
still
say
let
it, Vince,
slip.
it comes down to like 5 missed op shots from Sonic. Like, he needs to be getting at least one of those players approaching him through spawn. He has to.
Well, Fang's been decapitated early on. This round is way more grim in terms of a financial purchase, but OC still puts the Deagle to use. And I can see the Pain Gaming are taking this one slower. The bomb was dropped way back towards T-Spawn, has now been retrieved by Safi. Now, Harjao is low, so he's in range of all these pistols. This round may not be over just yet.
Oh, absolutely not. It has been opened up a bit, and even more now as OC sees that crack and he's forcing it open. That's 2 kills for him with the Deagle thus far. Over on that B side of the map, it puts Pain Gaming now in a tough 3-on-4 situation with Harjao, like you said, already bleeding out. There's good positioning here from Extra Salt.
We saw Pain against full rifles and a couple of AWPs in the last round still be victorious. In a more grim position than this, that's for sure. So we know that they can bounce back, and there's only one player over on B. It is still OC. Beautiful headshot using the slight gap in the smoke to his advantage. Nekis gets splattered, and now the rest of the team are starting to maneuver their way over onto the B site. They're keeping Sonic as the anchor over on A just to be safe. But this rotation is in the nick of time. Could yield the round. 15 seconds to play with. Flash is good. Lands in the eyes of Bigazera, who's a very aggressive component of this team, but he knows to go huge, and he's done just that. He's got himself a kill. 5 seconds to play with, though. He doesn't have control over the bomb. Needs to pick it up still, and they are going to get timed out. Whichever way he can spring in with kills, it doesn't matter. Extra Salt finally get their first round.
Yeah, it came in a very unexpected way, Vince. We'll have to say that. We thought that the round that they were going to get was the last one. They had the opening 5-on-3, and they actually had, you know, equitable firepower. This round, they had so little to work with in comparison to their opposition, yet OC with the Deagle was an absolute hero. So many well-executed Deagle shots there on that B side of the map that give his team a fighting chance, and they absolutely capitalize. They get the double op back in play. Pain still plenty of funds to rebuy here. Still a chance to, you know, get normalcy reestablished, but heavy banana pressure coming from Extra Salt.
Is it a one and done, or do Extra Salt have it within them to start to chime together some rounds? Good grenade damage, and PKL with a double entry. Fang and OC get destroyed, and Marquis can at least weather enough wherewithal to get one frag and dink Harjao, but unlikely to be good enough. And it does feel like this is a one and done, Dust, and that is going to play hell with the economy of Extra Salt, and in terms of the overall round score, they're already going to be 7-1 behind.
Yeah, the one pump Trump, Vince. You hate to see it. You really do. It's just so weird how it happens as well, Vince. Like, they win, like, the most unorthodox round. Lose a round they probably should have won just prior to that. And now we're just right back to what we've been seeing basically the entire game through, and that's Pain dominating. And honestly, considering the economy of Extra Salt, I mean, it's not going to get any better anytime soon. They're going to have to hope for another miracle, or they're going to have to essentially win out once they get their money back in order to really pose a threat to Pain Gaming's lead this half. Pain just looks so on point coming from their semifinals performance against Choco Check. I don't even know what that means. They're gone now, though, so it doesn't matter.
Sonic is going to make sure that he does hold on to this AWP. I doubt they're going to be able to thread the shot onto him, so he will save it, which is a bit of a reprieve, but looking at the economy of Marquis and OC, it doesn't really fare too much better, at least.
Right. Able to get the full buy here, but again, they're like in this weird buy-save rotation right now until they can win a couple in a row, and that's what keeps them so vulnerable. Even Marquis has to spring for the FAMAS this round to have anything rolling into this round. And once again, Extra Salt want to keep up this early banana pressure, but honestly, it hasn't really netted them any benefit yet this game.
Double Molly's already put down from both teams, and OC's taking a lot of damage from HE. He's down to 15 HP himself. Grenade is thrown in return. Incendiary behind it. Forces out Safi. Forces out the remainder of the troops. But again, they stumble over each other. Now, do they expect the third player to be here? No. Sonic has shown his hand. But now they know. It's a 3-on-3, but Harjao is a bullet away from death.
Yeah, that's crazy, though, that Pain still kind of even the numbers out, considering how well executed the utility was from Extra Salt. And they did have, you know, just a really good game plan. They were playing off each other very well. So I'm kind of shocked to see Harjao kind of put themselves back in a position where they could still actually win this round from them. Like, Extra Salt definitely were the better looking team in that exchange. But now that no longer matters. Now it all comes down to how they play out this 3-on-3. Harjao still trying to keep some presence on the B side, keep Sonic interested so he won't rotate. Maybe even pull a second player into CT spawn to lighten the load on his attacking squad that's now wrapping up Archway. But it's still going to be 2 defenders on the site, Vince.
30 seconds on the clock. Time itself beginning to show itself as an enemy, but Bigazera swats away Marky with ease with the AK, and although he has gone down to the hands of JT, Harjao is there to pick up the pieces. Post-plant. Sonic with the AWP. I don't envy his position at all, because honestly, either way is going to sting. If he goes in for the clutch, very unlikely he wins. Goes to save. It's already Pain Gaming will be leading whatever happens at halftime. And as you said, it's like this buy-save situation, and Extra Salt, they're into the save element of that.
It's tough, too, because this is now like maybe the second or third round this half where Extra Salt actually have had themselves in a spot where they could have won the opening exchange and actually been on top for the rest of the round. But it seems like there's always this multi-kill response from Pain to stop that from happening. It was PKL the round before. This round, it was PKL. Or excuse me, this round was Harjao, excuse me. So, yeah, I mean, it's just kind of crazy that things look bright for Extra Salt for just a brief moment, and then Pain just swatted away. And then that round, they just had great spacing in that 3-on-3 to trade their way into A site. I mean, they get a clean entry on Marky thanks to Bigazera, who, again, his first bullet accuracy has just been so on point today. And then, yeah, they limit the pit player to just one himself, and now they're up 8-1. And, I mean, there is money there to buy around this op, sure, but you're going to have to make some sacrifices on utility. You're probably going to have to get a FAMAS in there. It's certainly going to be less than ideal. Man, on the map that we said that Pain had to show up on, they have a chance in series, man. They are certainly here, Vince. And they are making their presence known each and every round.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, you look over at the stats, and Bigazera's actually bottom fragging for his team, but each and every one of his kills has just been so impactful. Yeah, and crucial fulcrum points in these rounds. And Extra Salt actually have gone for the buy here, Dust. They decide to go all in.
When you're this far behind, I feel like you have to. When you've got to put a stop to this.
So FAMAS is picked up on Fang and Marky. Distinct lack of utility on 3 of the 5 players. But they do have 2 kits. Nekis, though, already up in Boiler, showing his presence. HE does connect onto JT. Quarter of his HP dissipates. Hoping not to get skewered from some aggression. And it's forced out again from a Molotov. So Pain expending quite a bit of utility, but they're at least softening up Extra Salt.
Indeed they are. There's about equal utility for each team at this point on the server with still 1 minute and 8 seconds left to play. No real map control taken yet from Pain Gaming. They're starting to get top banana now, but Fang is looking to try to respond. Gets a pop flash, tries to peek out, does find a kill, but PKL is very quick to trade it back. And so a bit of a stalemate, but does favor Pain as time dwindles. They're spreading the defense thin. You can see that Marky's not quite sure where he needs to be just yet. He thought about rotating to help out OC. OC calls him off to reinforce A. That means that OC is going to get exposed here potentially. He's going to have to try his best to stall out and buy time for rotation. But, I mean, this rotation's so far offense. They're committed to mid.
The good news is, though, he doesn't have the AWP. He actually has the M4. And we know how good he is with the assault rifle. So it's not as if he can only shoot once and that's it. But in fact, he tries to play anti-flash. You could see what he was going for. Looks a bit foolish, but he's trying to play anti-flash so he could then spin around and try and spray them as they all clumped up and conga line their way towards the site. Now, unfortunately, he's gone down without any kind of fight at all. And Pain Gaming are looking good for a 9-1 unless Extra Salt can come back onto the site. Now, it feels a bit disjointed. Marky was running back towards the spawn. Well, pardon me, it was Sonic that was running back towards the spawn with the AWP, when his two teammates went aggressively. So, like, they weren't on the same page. I can understand they may feel desperate to go in for every single scrap they can possibly get, but it's backfired horribly.
Yeah, I think the other fine detail to point out there is a lot of the reason why OC probably takes that dice roll in the 4-on-4 is because there was really no utility left to actually properly set up a retake. We know how hard B-site can be to retake on this map anyhow, and if you don't have the smokes to block off angles or have the incendiaries to flush out new box, emo, you know, those types of things, you're kind of just reliant fully on aim, and so you might as well take your fight then and there, maybe get a couple of kills, whittle down the attack, slow them down from planning, and buy more time for that rotation since they were so far off from being in a place to assist him. I mean, yeah, sure, you could point out that maybe he could just have fell back to spawn and tried to play out the 4-on-4 with bomb down, but again, without utility, it would have been so difficult.
The Brazilians have been in fine form and fine voice tonight. The semi-finals, they absolutely crushed X Rebirth, and they have not slowed down. If anything, I could argue they've actually picked up a bit of pace here, Dust, and it's Extra Salt they're up against, and it's quite an impressive start to this. We do know that Extra Salt, they've got a decent T-half in their own right, but at this point, I'm worried if they're going to have anything to really build off.
Yeah, I would say of the maps they like actually actively play a good amount, this probably is one of the lower maps in their pool, right? They are exceptionally strong on maps like Train and Nuke so far with this lineup. They've also done well elsewhere in the pool. Again, Inferno has been kind of 50-50 for them, has been one of the big strengths of Pain Gaming, so when you look at it from that perspective, it's not too shocking, but I would say the fashion in which Pain are dominating the server definitely has caught me by surprise, especially considering Extra Salt's already proven they can beat this team on Inferno and did so very recently.
That's the key thing, right? Like we said that Extra Salt, when they win against Pain, it's often very close games.
Yes.
We have never seen a super one-sided map scoreline, and especially not in Pain Gaming's favor.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, even the time they won, that one time, was not this dominant.
Yeah, not at all. It was a 16-14. Went all 30 rounds on Dust 2, I believe it was. So, yeah, definitely far from the norm for this matchup, as it looks like a 10th round is just around the corner here for Pain Gaming. They're closing in on this A side. Sonic and Fang both playing from the archway here, not really able to find any shots through the smoke. Daffy now holding the angle on the wraparound towards brackets. So Pain have all their I's dotted and T's crossed for this one. No real way Extra Salt's going to be able to break through other than pure brute force. It's very likely they just want to save this AWP once more. So indeed, Pain finds double digits, and they're just decimating the Extra Salt squad here. No doubt about it.
Looking to save one more time. The AWP, completely fine and justified. The Deagle less so, but I think Fang is basically playing bodyguard at this point. Plus, obviously, he does have the Kevlar alongside it. But 10-1 the score. Extra Salt will have enough finances to come back in. But for me, I think they need to win the rest of the half outright. This needs to be a 10-5.
Yeah, it just seems like Inferno's going by the wayside. Again, the good news for Extra Salt is that the rest of their map pool has been fairly convincing. With this lineup, they have yet to lose a game on either Nuke, Overpass, Vertigo, or Dust 2. Granted, they've only played those maps maybe like 4 or 5 times, so very small sample size. They're also near 100% win rate on Train at 90% in 10 games played. So, I mean, again, Inferno was kind of the one map that they actually play that was a little bit of a chance for their opponent to come in. I mean, Mirage is obviously kind of a permaban for them a lot of the time, it feels like, or at least they don't very much play it. So, yeah. I just couldn't have expected it to be this one-sided, though. Like, even if we thought this was Pain's chance to put their, you know, best foot forward and put on a show, certainly could have expected it to be this one-sided. Not at all. And the thing is, I feel like even though it's this one-sided, I've seen situations where Extra Salt give themselves chances. Like, they maybe contest top banana pretty well, use their utility effectively, get a kill, you know, force Pain Gaming back. But then it's just someone makes a big play to kind of cancel that all out. And, I mean, there's been no shortage of multi-frags from Pain when they've needed it, whether it be PKL, whether it have been Harjao, whether it's, you know, Big Zaire, who, again, isn't, you know, top in the charts, but, again, he's had impact when he's needed to. It's just a Pain game that's firing on all cylinders right now. And they're doing it at just the right moment. Like, this is when you want to peak, when it's all on the line. The grand finals, the one spot for Blast Premier is at the finish line. And yeah, they say the best for last, it looks like, Vince.
Well, the fact that it's PKL that's leading the charge is quite surprising. I mean, he's by no means a poor player by any stretch of the imagination, but he's not typically up there as one of their heavy hitters. So
right.
That just goes to show how many different gears and elements and facets that Pain Gaming have coming into this. We've yet to see Bigazera properly take off. We've yet to see Hardjal properly take off. And to do a bit of quick maths, 23 kills is how much Extra Salt have collectively as 5. So they're averaging just over 2 kills a round. Like, that's so grim, and that's why you're seeing Safi with nearly $14,000 to his name. You're seeing everyone pretty healthy in terms of Pain. Like, there haven't been super scrappy close rounds. We've had a couple of them, but by and large, it's been dominant. But here we go, Das. We're back into it. The technical issue has been resolved and fixed, and let's see if Extra Assault can finally pick up the pace. Well, down into Banana, it's the same result. The answer is no.
Yeah.
No, they can't.
Yeah, it's actually gone even worse this time around. At least before, when they challenged Banana, they were able to maybe go kind of even, or maybe even get a slight man advantage for a brief moment in time. But that time was just a straight up mop up from Hardjal. Marky now trying to play up close on this mid smoke and hope that he can make a miracle happen.
That's pretty much what they need, and they have at least got one through the smoke. JT's now shown himself as well, but this has been the key thing for me. The revenge frags, the avenge kills that Pain have pulled off today have been flawless. They never die without a response.
Yeah, I think that's a very big point to kind of hone in on. It's definitely been a big factor in their success. It's just their spacing and timing. It looked like Marky had a chance to line up a multi-frag there. He had a couple of players right in front of him, but only able to get one. So again, it's just that trading efficiency from Pain Gaming. It's just been too superior on Inferno here. And at this point, if you're Extra Salt, what do you even change? What can you adjust? You've tried double op. You've tried banana aggression early. You've tried peeking middle. You've tried taking apartments. I mean, they really have. It's not like they've been stubborn and run their head up against a brick wall. They've been trying to, you know, be diverse in how they approach, and just nothing pans out for them.
The only thing I could think of is we haven't seen him try and pressure down middle with HEs and just rush down, but you're seeing that Safi's just watching mid every round. So I don't think that's going to bode too much better for them regardless.
That's more of an eco strat than anything.
Yeah.
That's like a real Hail Mary for sure. And there you go. Sonic getting aggressive in apartments with an op. Does find the opener.
Oof, 1 for 1 though, but at least Extra Salt have something to be happy about. Finally, we have them in a player advantage, but OC trying to get aggressive outside. The flashbang is good, forces him away. And again, Pain Gaming put their flag down. The Brazilian flag is raised high on Banana. It is under their control.
It is, but a counter smoke is going to put them at a screeching halt, and this allows JT to make his rotation to reinforce this B site. 2 players defending with 1 right there in spawn. Even, you know, Sonic wouldn't be too far away if he's required, as he's going to be in that closet position with the op. He is holding top middle, so he has all the information in the world. Unless they somehow go apartments to balcony and ultimately bypass his presence entirely, they should have everything covered. But no, they don't check this corner. They try to get aggressive at B for intel, and it comes back to haunt them.
That's so often been the case. JT tries to push through the smoke, and it's more of the same. Hardjal, I said he hadn't properly shown up just yet. Well, 12 kills and 6 deaths. And a 3K in round 13 would suggest otherwise. And as if there weren't enough threats already to deal with, Sonic now has to try and pull off a 1v3, and Hardjal bags himself the 4K.
I just lost that 4-on-3, Vince. That's gut-wrenching. I get why they pop flash shot Banana, because they were worried that with Sonic solo holding middle with no assistance, that if they were going to keep investing a 3-person B defense, they needed to make sure that they were actually in the right place. Because again, there was that chance that they could have been going apartments to balcony, and Sonic would have been none the wiser, and they would have gotten a free A site. But they obviously got punished for that peek at B, as we all saw, and now they're just on pistols in the second to last round of the half. And I mean, this has just been an onslaught from Pain that has just never let up.
Doesn't seem like it is going to be relenting anytime soon. They have been ruthless in their aggression.
Yes.
But it's been smart. It hasn't been overly crazy. Nothing too out of the ordinary. They've been reining it in when it's been necessary. There's only been 1 kill in return in this round, and at least an AK has been picked up. But any point you want to give Extra Salt like a little bit of sort of credit or positivity, you just look at the 12-1 scoreline and it quickly is snuffed out. Says some aggression again through Fang, through the smoke. He does actually live to tell a tale, surprisingly with 100 HP. But Sonic's already dipping out of there. He's already looking to save.
Yeah, there's just not a whole lot of positives to grab onto here. If you're an Extra Salt fan, this map has completely gone awry. I think the only positive you could pull, Vince, and this is a stretch, but it's knowing that Train's next. Like, I mean, that's really it.
Sure.
Like, it's a map that they are, again, near flawless on in 10 games played. They're 9-1 record. You look over at the Pain Gaming side of things, they have only won 1 match in 6 played. That was against Rugrats, and that was at the end of last year. Like, that was months ago now, 6 months ago, basically. They've only played it twice this year, and both times they lost it, and both times was the Extra Salt. Now, both those games were 13-16, and a lot of their losses have been in really, really close games. So it's a little bit deceiving that they're 1-5. I mean, yeah, they've lost it a ton, but again, they've played it, you know, fairly effectively. They just kind of happen to lose by a couple of rounds. But that's the one thing going Extra Salt's way. They beat this team twice before on Train this year. They're definitely the more comfortable team on that map, and they have it coming up next. So that's like the one thing you could think of now.
This is the aggression I was looking for, but that's the AWP. That's the barrel of the gun will be protruding around the corner. Safi knows exactly what is coming to fruition, can call to his teammates just to hold on for a couple of extra seconds, and JT walks into the trap. Now Sonic has put that AWP down middle to devastatingly affect, and Marky comes in with one of his own, so maybe we will see Extra Salt pick up a second round. Maybe it isn't going to be a complete open shot case if they can get that second pistol, but there are so many hurdles to navigate their way over. Yeah. You're going to have to hold out a lot of optimism. Safi isn't done just yet, though. There's still time, and he has control over the bomb, so maybe he can divide and conquer. Throws away the AWP, picks up the AK instead. Makes a lot of sense. He still feels like he's got every chance to win this round. Sonic holding the angle should have him dead to rights, but misses his shot. We've already seen Sonic miss a few shots earlier, and it was a very costly mistake. But because he's wasting so much time, it's only a matter of seconds before Safi's going to be pincered in, but still takes down the frag. Can't quite get it done onto Sonic. So at least Extra Salt will finish with a round, but it still reads 13-2. Let's see if Pain can convert after this break. Pain Gaming were unrelenting on their T side. Extra Salt, they had to snatch and grab at every little shred of hope. It has yielded them 2 rounds thus, but it feels like this may already be a done deal, unless they can win this second pistol. They are now on the T side, and they're looking to try and romp straight up second mid early on to try and get some early control.
Yeah, Safi has heard a lot of this over in alt mid and backs off here and just reinforces lane with his teammate. Also getting a rotation from Big Uzera here in Library. Hell, even Nekis is rotating because they kind of have that early alert system with Harjal able to get to the half wall and keep his eyes peeled all the way down Banana. But you can back off and call for a rotation if need be. That allows them to, again, have a very stout defense in place at A, and they can do so, you know, fairly safely because Harjal playing this position. He's just jiggling back and forth. It's all going to come down to timing. If he gets busted, it could be a problem. They're all kind of hugging this wall, but he spots it, gets away, and he can call for that rotation.
The only downside is, though, it's not as if he has a smoke or anything to fend them off, so he is still going to get punctured and pushed in. If he can get a couple kills, this would be massive for Pain. Even one would be huge, but he's already been dinked down and finished off. Molotov will burn him out and make sure he evaporates and his presence is no longer felt. The bomb's starting to get planted down. Nekis tries to do his best to try and remedy a kill out of this, but runs out of ammunition, and JT has him dead to rights. Looking good for Extra Salt to at least pick up the second pistol, but Pain still have Big Azera, Safi, and PKL, all of who have been playing very well, especially PKL, who's at the helm, taking first point of contact. Hasn't been punished just yet, but Safi and Big Azera both get themselves frags, and now they walk into the blender, and Extra Salt do get the second pistol and their third round on the board.
Yeah, that was like a requirement to even have some hope at keeping this map competitive. But they still have a long list of boxes they must check off to ever put a real threat to Pain Gaming's lead here. So I can't get too much credence to it just yet, but hey, at least they've taken that first step. They'll be able to get the buy up here. Galil's and Mac-10s. Pain Gaming taking a very conservative approach here, not going all the way in, just getting maybe a couple of P250s at most, looking to just do a banana rush right now at 4 of their players. The Molotov of Extra Salt will put them to a screeching halt, and now they'll just fortify the site. All you really can do is kind of a gamble stack or gamble push around like this, so can't blame them, but seems like it's not going to pay off.
Yeah, they got rounds to burn at this point, so may as well go in for the gambles and take your time. Fang in the meanwhile, though, triple spray at top of Banana. Taking swift control.
Oh, Vince. I saw something. Did you see it?
I did indeed. It's the Zeus.
It's not going to come to fruition, though, is it, Vince?
I think they've bypassed him. Unless they look for try and get some exits after the post plant, then maybe there's a way for him to use it in library, but doesn't look good for the Zeus kill.
Hate to see it.
There's still a chance. Safi is found by Fang, who's looking for his ace as well, all with Mac-10. So he's just printing cash already. $2,800 before the end of the round.
Yeah, he is. Definitely got his value and then some with that Mac-10. No doubt about it. As we said, the Zeus still sitting inside the library, hoping that someone will come his way, but it seems unlikely at this point. Everyone seems to be kind of escaping through middle or through apartments, so indeed the Zeus will never come into play here. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't disappointed. In fact, he's probably going to get gunned down. The desperation hop. Oh man, he's actually made it through.
If you want to catch more CS action, head over to youtube.com/Venn Esports. I don't know if we're going to go the full 3 maps here, Dust. I mean, the fact that Train is up next would suggest that we may very well do so, but if this does end quick, make sure you hop over there and drop it a sub and watch some more great content.
Hashtag content.
This map hasn't been great content from the neutral's perspective. No. It's been pretty lopsided, but I'm hoping that Extra Salt can at least mount a comeback of some description. At least
it's not lopsided and all over the place. You know, we've been able to follow it pretty well. PKL gets the opener here on Sonic. Gonna get flushed out by the Molotov, but is able to escape. Fang, though, putting that Mac-10 to use elsewhere.
Arjao trying to clear out the angle, but Nekis through the smoke. Perforates it, perforates Fang, puts Extra Salt in the back foot. Although PKL is low, this is certainly an advantage to Pain Gaming. The only downside is that Nekis is all alone on the B site. They're being flashed into. He's stuck at the back of New Box. There's no mollies to deal with him just yet, so maybe he can bypass this. Does get 1 kill, which is definitely worth it. It's going to stall this plant a little bit longer and allows Pain to get up close for this retake. Smoke's now beginning to fade, beginning to clear. Ammunition running dry on both teams. Magazines need to be replenished before the final push comes in. And the timing is so poor for Mark, who gets caught in the middle of nowhere. OC tries to wrap in for a second, but Pain Gaming instantly sting back. 14-4.
Yeah, the only good thing about this is that Extra Salt at least got that bomb plant, so it gives them some buying options going into the next round. The problem is Pain have already struck gold early here on the CT side, which is really bad news for any type of comeback effort Extra Salt were trying to piece together. Only 2 rounds needed for Pain to get the victory here on their pick of Inferno. It seems all but inevitable at this point. I mean, it would take the Herculean effort of all efforts to see Extra Salt find a way to win out in regulation and get the map or somehow force an overtime.
Oh, Molly Kill does take down JT, but that's that side of mutually assured destruction that does actually pay out. 1-for-1 trade will be a decent endeavor for Extra Salt, but they have to capitalize and build on that. And Fang trying to spray through the smoke, a lot of damage inflicted to both him and OC, and they basically do nothing in return. Only 5 damage to Nekis. That was not worthwhile.
No, not at all. It's allowing them to go ahead and back off and maybe even put Nekis in a spot where he can rotate to reinforce A here pretty soon, as long as Biguzera feels comfortable holding alone. Marky almost pulled one out there from the apartments. It puts Safi in a tough spot because he's getting modded out. He's going to have to extinguish, but he's able to hang around. Going to be an A attack for sure now coming in from Extra Salt. The rotations are on the way.
Yeah, the strength of that smoke as well is not only does it extinguish the Molotov, but you can play up on the bike. It's a really cheeky angle, or you can just move to mini pit as he did. Was anticipating that some kind of maybe a waterfall spill would come in. Wanted to make sure that the crossfire was good enough to deal with that incoming potential threat. 45 seconds left, though, and this is where the lack of HP on two players could be an issue, but maybe not. OC and Sonic shrug off the cobwebs and push forward and land nothing but headshots. What a recovery.
Yeah, great statement there from Extra Salt to essentially, like, I guess you could say choose the wrong site in the sense that Pain were all there, but able to just kind of tear through it anyway. Great job by Extra Salt. Great op pick from OC. Great entries from Sonic. And they put up a 5th round. They force a save out of Pain that likely will put them to 6. Again, they're still a ways off from posing a real threat to Pain. I feel like they need to at least get kind of that 10-round mark before you have to start taking the comeback seriously. But they're whittling away, piece by piece.
Neck is spoiled for choice. Shot right down the middle. And it's just a deagle round with some pistols thrown in alongside it with P250s. Not really around where Pain are expecting anything of great success to come into play. Because Zera's been mollied out and he will be shut down momentarily. Indeed, he is by Fang. And the dominoes falling into place for round 20. A cheeky smoke push does yield the kill into JT, but doesn't really make any difference. Extra Salt will get it done. A 3K from Fang, building up the confidence.
Yep. Pain Gaming going to be back to full buying here, however, though it will not include an AWP for Safi. Rifles will go out. A FAMAS in play for Nekis just to be able to get that extra bit of utility, which is certainly sparse on the CT side right now. Another big opportunity for Extra Salt to really add some weight to this comeback argument if they can pull out another full rifle round victory here and now. Without it, it'll be map point for Pain Gaming. Very likely they will just have to kind of bow out and wait for Train to have some hope in the series. They're looking to be pretty heavy-handed here in the apartments in mid early. They're not really challenging Banana at this point. Looks like they just want to do something with a faster pace on this A side of the map, and that may work out great.
Well, Fang, who's definitely had a big turnaround in this second half alongside Sonic, is thinking about pushing through, but that flashbang, I was about to say it was a bit too premature on that peak, but everything's fell into place nicely. This is an excellent take by Extra Salt.
Yeah, that was a really good handling of that high-low stack that was in play at port that can sometimes be very difficult to navigate your way through, but they had some effective flashes and timings of their peaks, and they were able to, again, trade so effectively there, basically trading 1 for 3. Didn't even really give Pain a chance to make a rotation, and the attack came so quick. I like the pacing change there. It's going to give a 7th round to Extra Salt. And the great thing about it as well is that they're able to, you know, come away with 4 of their players. So that means they're going to be able to focus their money on replenishing utility rather than weaponry, which just opens up all their strategic options going forward. They're not going to be limited in any sort of way on, you know, having nades for fakes and then being still able to cover all their angles and they want to go for the actual execute. It just leaves all their options open is the point.
Also glad from like a neutral impartial viewpoint here that we're seeing something from Extra Salt. They didn't just get battered like 16-2 and move straight across the train, but we're actually seeing some of what these guys are capable of. So they can build up that confidence going into train. It's not like they've just been completely decimated. Like they actually come through with a bit of self-esteem.
And you have to understand that Pain are the ones fresh off of a series, right? I mean, they're the ones who have played most recently. That fatigue could start to set in. You know, if you've gotten this big lead, then you let your opponent grind you all the way back and force you to go the extra inning, so to speak, to get the job done. I mean, that can certainly wear on you.
What a shot from OC that is. That is just split-second reaction time. Now, obviously, Big Azera jump peeking, it means he gets shot in the leg instead, but the damage already inflicted, softening up 2 of these targets exceptionally low. And it isn't a full-on investment. Of course, they do still have money in the bank, and Big Azera, with one of the saved weapons, puts it to use on OC. Will drop plenty of utility from Extra Salt, but they need to be careful. If they overextend here, they will get punished.
That is certainly a possibility here. This is not the round you want to be giving up if you're Extra Salt. You cannot afford to hand over map points to Pain in a round like this. It's supposed to be kind of your freebie round, a round where you don't have to work as hard. You have less opposition to face when it comes to firepower, yet They've already lost a player here, but now they're looking to attack A. The problem is there's already 4 players rotate this very position. Pain kind of rolled the dice a bit on stacking this side, and they're going to be correct. Or are they? We see Extra Salt considering the rerouting option on the GPS. They're taking the detour here, and that's going to be B-site, and only NECA stands to try to stop them, and he'll be smoked off. Uh-oh, there's a gap there. Smoke. That's a problem.
This is a huge issue. And they're going to get punished. This is fundamentals. This is basics of Inferno. Landing a good CT smoke is part and parcel of this map. You'll see this landed properly in matchmaking. How have they let that one slip? Now, they probably won't get fully punished for the fact that they're still so far ahead in terms of firepower, but it gives them an opportunity here. Marquis just going above and beyond with his AK, but now Neckis sprays in for 2. And Marquis is all that remains. They know exactly where he is. They spotted him, but the lack of kits and the lack of utility is going to be the issue. And Marquis looking to try and pull off the 4K, but Neckis removes his head. It's going to be close in the defuse, but he should have it. And this all started from a whiffed smoke. You cannot afford, at this level of Counter-Strike, to make those mistakes.
I mean, I can't really say it better myself. There is no way, as a salary player, that's like one of the easiest smokes in the game. It's not that hard to line up whatsoever. And so to miss that is kind of unforgivable, especially when you're trying to mount a comeback. You can't afford any slip-ups like that. One more, game's over. That's mind-blowing to me. It's not even difficult smoke to throw. Like you said, pretty much, like that's like that's like the smoke everyone knows, man. Like everyone knows how to smoke CT spawn in Inferno. Everyone knows how to like smoke mid to be on Dust too. Yikes.
Well, they have to somehow try and put that into the deep recesses of their brain and just focus on the task at hand. They were doing well on the T side as well. That's what's even more disappointing, is it felt like maybe there was a way forward, but that door has been slammed shut.
Well, can I ask a question? Is there a way to bump the smoke or something to where it wouldn't have landed properly? I don't think so.
I'm
trying to give him an out. Yeah, I was trying to give him an out, Vince. I was trying.
Maybe he did, in which case, apologize. But
yes.
In the meantime, Pain Gaming 5-3 in terms of manpower. It's looking good. They're going to convert and take this first map.
Yeah, wholeheartedly agree with you on that one. I don't really see much of a way back for Extra Salt. There are only 2 players left standing now. Gonna take a crazy individual effort to try to save this round.
OC is hoping that he'll get peeked in from CT side, throws in the smoke. Molly up and over towards New Box. No one is home. They're actually playing for the retake side here, trying to spray out through the boost. A lot of damage done, but OC does survive and spins around, pivots in for the frag. But only 2 players remain. Bomb plant is successful. Safi can't quite thread through the smoke, but does get it onto OC, who peeks back out again. And Fang's the last man standing, but he's only got 11 HP to his name. In a 1-on-4, has dealt with 25% of the oncoming Ts. Or CTs, I should say, and now has to try and hold the line for a little bit longer. Smoke down on towards the garden is going to make this so difficult for Fang as he tries to push the bullet through the smoke. Does get it on the second time of asking, but nowhere near fast enough. And Pain Gaming going to take it 16-7. And honestly, Dust, that could have been so much more.